Hello and welcome to Weekend Investing Daily Bites. Today is July 23rd. This is episode number 58, and as you have seen the last many Fridays, we do a Ask Weekend Investing round, and we put up a hashtag on Twitter in the morning and try to answer as many queries as we get on Friday. But first, let's go and see how the market was. So the markets were buoyant since morning, and it continued the good rise that we saw on Nifty, at least in the previous days. And the Bank Nifty and the FMCG counters, along with some PSU banks, were up. Some IT stocks were also up. Metals and pharma, they were muted. Realty was also up today. Some infra and energy stocks were down. Overall, a reasonably dull sort of a day. The main highlight today was Zomato's listing, and it listed at a huge premium and traded almost 10,000 crores of turnover today. So it was a huge win-win for not just the investors, who got a great listing price, but also for all the intermediaries in the market, brokers, depositories, exchanges, SEBI, and the government also in terms of STT tax. So everybody got a great, push on this day on the numbers. There was another major news item today where Vodafone was Supreme Court turned down their request for a recalculation, and that is being called as a major hit going forward. So that stock was down dramatically during the day. In terms of broader indices, Nifty, although was up, but was muted to some extent. So it was up 0.2%. CNX 200 and 500 were also up marginally. Small cap index was down by minus half a percent. MIMT all cap did well in our weekend investing small cases, and MI30 and MI25 were marginally up, and the others were not really of any major change today. So we come to the topic of the day, which as per last few Fridays, we have kept a Weekend Investing round 3 today. We've done 2 such rounds, and each of these daily bites actually becomes a very good FAQ sort of a video, which is already there on the YouTube channel, and the links are there in the Weekend Investing Hub for reference to them anytime. And we'll start with question number 40. So 39 questions we have earlier addressed in the previous 2 rounds. So Pranay is saying this ATH system picks the top 10 momentum stocks near all-time highs. Have you tried testing an alternate system with the next best 10? So that's a great idea. We will try to do this, but let me say that the new products that we are going to launch, there is a product which is very much like ATH. So this requirement or demand will get met to a large extent with that. So please wait for just few more days and we'll release all the details. Rajesh is asking, please explain and differentiate small case investment by resident Indian account versus NRI PIS account. The short-term capital gains for NRIs will be deducted immediately after sale, but resident account holders can pay on yearly basis. So this requires a taxation expert, an NRI taxation expert, to comment. I am not very sure how this works, but yes, the short-term capital gain for residents are payable at the end of the year, and for PIS holders, the bank, which is the associated bank with that PIS account, will withhold some tax on that. So you are probably right, but please get an expert's opinion on this. Rajesh is asking, if SGB interest date is December 1 and I buy the bond in Zerodha on November 30th, will I still get the interest? So I don't think so, because there is a record date before which the scripts or the demat entity, the stocks have to reach your demat account. So if you get a credit before the record date, then yes, you will get an interest for that period. But I doubt if payout is on November, is on 1st December, if the record date will be November 30th or early. It will be much, at least 4 or 5 weeks or 7 days earlier. I'm not very sure, but it doesn't seem like that November 30th will get you the interest. But please check on the record date, and I will also go and check on this. Ramesh is saying how to tell if strategy has stopped working due to change in market conditions, or if it is a normal drawdown period which needs to be endured. Example, current situation with Stairs. So yes, you're right. Stairs is in a rough situation this year. After having reached plus 100% in February, it has dramatically dropped, and now we are in deep drawdowns. So there is no one clear answer I can give for this. Normally, you would want to wait out a few years before you can say that a strategy has gone bad. A strategy which has done well for more than a decade usually will not die out immediately. The efficacy of that strategy may reduce over time, and I would think a few years would be a reasonable period before you write the write off the strategy in case that is to be done. But so far it does seem like a very bad drawdown in the strategy, and we will continue with that. This is something that there is no one answer that anybody can really give. But over time, if the efficacy of the strategy is going down, then of course one can think that way. Usually, such larger time frame strategies, like this is an hourly strategy, will not lose the edge normally. The edge gets lost mostly in very high frequency trading, where more and more algorithms or more and more hardware is competing for that latency, and that edge gets lost. Here, because it is so slow, 5 trades in a month on an average, I don't think this can easily change, but that time will tell. Yeah. Rajesh is asking, can you suggest how to approach debt funds? Maybe a DB on it, as there is very little content on what to consider. So I'll probably say that I don't have much knowledge about debt funds, and I've been focused more on equity and gold, etc. So, and I feel that with the kind of interest rates in the world that are collapsing, and there seems to be no upswing on the horizon for a very, very long time, as far as I see it, I think investing in debt funds or bonds will become lesser and lesser attractive, as we are seeing with what's happening with bank deposits also. So while India does have a reasonably good nominal interest rate right now, but if real interest rates are collapsing everywhere, I don't think India will also have any worthwhile real interest rate left. So maybe debt is not such a great segment to go after. I think gold instead can provide a very good hedge to equity rather than debt, and gold has been yielding 11% plus for many years, over long periods of time, over decades. So I'm very bullish on gold from a hedging to equity perspective and an insurance perspective. Dr. Shark says, recommend some books to read for becoming a seasoned investor. Or what are your favorite books, and what medium do you use for gaining knowledge? Reading / or digital media. So I consider, reading blogs and reading Twitter as reading. So, I don't distinguish between digital media / reading as such. But yes, I don't do too much of reading of books. My favorite book from a long time was about trend following. I think Michael Cowell was one of them, and then Reminiscence of Stock Operator was one of them, And then, of course, a lot of good books on momentum are there in case you are interested in that particular direction by uh, Wesley Gray and by Gary Antonacci, and even books by Mark Minervini are very sought after. And so there are many very good authors who write about the things that kind of things that we are doing. So and of course for investing you have another set of books which a lot of investors can tell you, and all the bibles of investing, etc., so on and so forth. uh, Question 46 is from Neeraj. Why don't you launch a mutual fund of top 100 stocks with monthly changes? So that's a great suggestion, Neeraj, and I'll give you some answers to this. One is to launch a mutual fund. You need a certain net worth, and I don't have that. That is one. Number two is I am pretty happy in being is a advisor slash manager of strategies rather than managing funds for clients. So as a principle, I had sort of given up managing funds for clients. There was, when I was starting weekend investing, there was a thought of launching a PMS or slash a alternate investment fund, but then I decided against that, and I am pretty happy where I am in terms of offering services to you, because I feel that you need to be a part of the investing process to get gains out of it. If you just give it to somebody and they'll make a lot of money for you, that doesn't happen really. And that's, if it is happening to you at some PMS, etc., maybe you are lucky, but most of the time the costs involved are so high and the intermediary costs are so high that there's really nothing more left for the user versus the benchmark, for instance. So over a longer period, to have a great return, I think your involvement is very necessary. And the current way that we are doing it in terms of small case investing, I think these are, if you position your portfolio size right, then the costs are reasonable and you can actually have most of the gains to yourself. So that's one reason why I don't and mutual funds and this AMC game is a sort of a AUM gathering game, and there are efficiencies which when you reach, once you reach thousands of crores, not at 100, 200, 500 crores. So it's a very large game. One needs to have that kind of motivation to and a hunger to go get that. And maybe we'll see when it comes to that, but as of now I'm pretty satisfied with what I'm doing, and with the growth that we have at weekend investing, we are sitting quite pretty. And to give your answer in terms of what you require, I would say NNF 10 is almost like that in terms of we are not managing it, but it's top 51st to 100 stocks and with monthly changes. So you're almost there, 51st to 100 stocks. And I have another product, a large cap product, which can do like top 100 stocks with very few weekly changes, but nobody wants a CAGR of 15% actually. So I never launched that product. And so the expectation of the market is so unrealistic. Anyhow, so let me just move on because there are a lot of questions. So Jitu is asking, MI25 on small case gets rebalanced on Monday, whereas the live version gets rebalanced on 3 p.m. Do live users have an advantage over small case users? Yes. Is there any way MI25 small case users can get the rebalance update on Friday as well? So no, that will not be possible. That's a different product. Although the underlying portfolio is the same, but the structuring is very different. The pricing is very different. So if you wish to come on to that one, you're more than welcome. We are still open till the end of this month. But small case is a very different platform, and the delivery of the rebalance is very different there. Another question from Jitu. So you have mentioned investing some percentage of portfolio in gold. Do you think allocating some percentage of REIT is also a good idea? A bit of guidance on investing in REIT. So I have not dived deep into REITs, and REITs are very new phenomena. So there is very little history to it. There are not too many players yet. So I think it's a segment in infancy to some extent, and one should let it mature a bit and see the trends over time before allocating a significant portion. But yes, some allocation can be done. I agree with you. It's a good diversification from gold and equity and debt into REITs. So Darshan is saying, you have nicely covered percentage allocation about gold and equity. Is there recommended practice for allocation between gold, equity, and real estate, debt, bonds, and crypto? If possible, could you share your experience, as you may not be able to advise? So I don't invest in debt or crypto, but I do invest in gold, equity, and real estate, and those are the only three things that I do. So and as I say, that the thumb rule for me is half your age as percentage net worth in gold. I'm probably much over that, but I think as per your own risk profile, your age, your financial planner should be able to get you more information on that, or guidance actually, not information. Stonks Buddha says, at point of time in your investing career, did you realize that momentum investing was the way to go? Maybe you want to say at what point? So yeah, it was very late actually. I realized this earlier in the last decade, that I am not built for long-term investing or very short-term trading, or any other kind of market trades. And I was very happy doing even the stairs program. I think I evolved it somewhere around 2008 2009, and the systematic nature of that actually was very enlightening for me, that I'm able to do things in a very structured and systematic way. And I was doing a lot of BTST trading and swing trading, positional trading at that point, having given up on long-term investing long time back. Maybe things didn't work out for me. That was my bad luck. But I saw that all the valuation games and all the expert advice and the kind of fakery that happens in the markets. I was not satisfied with the dissatisfaction I had while I was trying to do long-term investing. Maybe it would never got into my skin at all. And then I had some very large losses, concentrated bets that I took, and I had some very large losses. So all that kind of threw me away from being hopeful about long-term investing. And in hindsight, of course, that was a very good decision. And so gradually I was looking at shorter term, structured, systematic investing. So more of, short-term positional investing, short-term swing trading. And that made me realize that while I'm doing this for one stock at a time, if I was to do it simultaneously for a portfolio of stocks, it would give me a better structure. It will give me more diversification. My risk returns would improve, and I would be able to scale. This was the biggest actually learning from those days, is that when I was doing individual stock positional trading, I was not able to scale. One stock, if I had, let's say, took a position of 20 lakhs or 30 lakhs, something like that, I was not able to scale it to 50 lakhs, 1 crore, so on and so forth, because the diversification risk was not appropriate. So gradually I transformed my thoughts into doing trend following in a diversified portfolio manner. And later on I found that that was also called momentum investing. I never knew all this. I was just doing what I saw on the screen and what felt like natural to do. But when I did some public release of these things, then people said that this is momentum investing, and then I read something about it, and then I said yes, I was wrong. I thought I had invented something new, but yeah. So systematic gives me a lot of peace. I am totally at peace. I know I have no regrets about any particular trade. I have no particular liking for any stock or disliking. So it keeps you, in a very sane, neutral environment, and I have enough confidence that over time my system will make money for me. So there is no sort of anxiety about things that is normally there in long term investing. So from my perspective, I've reached my right place. Pratish is saying, as a young investor who's adding on the total investment capital, should I focus on getting small gains by deploying multiple bets? Look at the long term and do SIP, mix of both. So I would say mix of both. If you can do number one more, then yes. So you want to improve your CAGR on short term bets so that it can help you in your longer term building. So I can share with you one thing that I used to do maybe early 2000 till about 2006, 5, 7 was I was doing a lot of trading, positional trading. I mean, not really intraday trading or FNO trading, but positional trading. And I would have more longer term strategies. So I would shift profits from my shorter term trading into longer term every month. So you make some money in short term trading, you move it out to longer term and make some more than on the shorter term the next month and move that out. So that way I was sort of not letting my trading account grow very big, but I was able to deploy the profits from there into the longer term vehicle. So slower in longer term, but more sharper and more lesser risk to the entire game in the trading one. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but yeah, try that. And of course, there is no one formula to this. Whatever suits you best, whatever you think can work best for you, you should be doing that. Next question is from Nabil. One of the big reasons why weekend investing small cases outperform markets and mutual funds is the ability to move to cash when markets are weak. New products won't be moving to cash. So what I understand from previous Q&A, aren't we sacrificing? So yes, I mean there is some sacrifice, but there are advantages also. So I would not say that if you're not going to cash, then the strategy is useless. Not going to cash has its disadvantages, but just imagine, let's say small and mid cap portfolio, 450 stocks are there, and we are choosing 20 stocks. So if you are going to be, let's say market is dropping like crazy, and if you are in the top 20 strongest of those 450 stocks, you'll still be in reasonably safe territory. Yes, they will drop, everything drops, but it won't fall like the bottom of that pack. So while you may drop, but you will still have some safety, because you will move into the defensive part of that 450 stocks. This we have seen in NNF 10 also. So like in March 2020 example, I can give you markets dropped more than 30%, but NNF 10 dropped only I think 21%, because it moved into the strongest of those 10 stocks of those 50 stocks, and all our other strategies also dropped 20-25%. So NNF 10 was not worst hit than others, even though it didn't go to cash. So going to cash is very important when you have very concentrated strategies. I think that is where going to cash becomes very important. And not have and these rotational momentum strategies have one very major advantage, is that when the market turns from the bottom, they are there from day one, whereas our other strategies take a very long time to reallocate capital, and we are sitting in cash while we are watching for months market is going up and we are sitting in cash. That is also very frustrating. So there is a give and a take, both is there, and over time I have seen that is not so much of a difference. So and this will also diversify your risk across two different types of strategies. So I think this is a very good thing that we're doing, and there is no real sacrifice as such here. And out of the three products, only two will be rotational and one will be a regular trend following, going to cash kinds. Mr. Ajay is asking, trying to move from debt to equity, should the SIP be done on a time basis or a price basis? Like weekly SIP when small case moves up by say 2%. So I think if you can do it on a price basis, that can also work very well actually. Usually people do it on a time basis because price basis becomes a bit frustrating at times. You're waiting for that element to happen, or it may happen, some intraday price changes may happen, or intra-week price changes may happen, and by the end of it may come back, so on and so forth. So having a systematic way to do it on price or time, both are correct, but I don't think I'll be able to say which one is better as such, because I don't have a study to back that. But this is a good point. We'll try to do some studies on it and maybe do a daily bite on this. Next question is from Rahul. Is it possible to receive rebalance updates on Friday before the market closes? No, that is not possible. The design is such that the rebalance will go out post the market close. If you wish to enroll in the live products, there you can get a rebalance at 3 o'clock. But for small case products, we will not be able to do that. Nikhil says, do recently listed stocks get picked in your products if they have momentum, or is there a filter like 1 year? So we have a filter of minimum 6 months before we will start to look at any stock movement on that. And some strategies also have 1 year actually. So minimum 6 months to 1 year is what we need in terms of price history. And we may lose some fantastic opportunities, like for instance Happiest Minds or some other stocks which immediately went up, etc. Next question is from Internist. If a strategy remains completely in cash during the entire subscription period of 3 months, will the subscription be extended? No, so the subscription plans are not linked to cash levels or returns. That's against the regulator's rules actually. Also, these 3-month plans are not meant for, that you come in and you invest and there'll be, returns. These are just trial plans to see what is happening. But I don't think we've had a 3-month period where we did nothing on this. But if it happens, we'll consider something. We'll ask small case to offer some concessions in some way, but so far it has not happened. But SEBI bars us from linking any pricing with any sort of returns based metric. The next question is from Stock Studies. Not looking to time the market, but is there a good time during the day to rebalance? So that is actually timing, but there is no one right time. Some people prefer to do it early in the morning, some people do it later in the day, some people do it in the day after also. And we will soon undertake a few studies where we will demonstrate what happens, at least for the last many years that we've been doing this, what would have happened if you took a trade at, so and so time. And I think even small case will build this capability soon, that you will be able to see what would have been the results if you chose that particular time. So just wait for some more time and this capability will be available. Dr. Leo says, sir, you said couple of weeks back we should try to minimize our drawdown. So how can we do that? And how much is acceptable? So acceptability part is yours. What kind of drawdowns can you bear? How can we do that is basically dependent upon your strategy. So you could have a strategy where you have a very tight, let's say in ATR, an average true range or a moving average or some sort of a percentage drop from the top that you decide that I will not take a pain more than this. So maybe if your strategy index is 100 and it drops to 85, maybe you say that I'm going to get out at 85 and I will not take more than 15%, and when the next wave move up comes, then I'll get in again. So there can be so many other ways. So you can put a hard stop, you can trail your gains, many ways of doing that. Narayan is asking, is it possible to launch a small case around foreign stock investments? There are mutual funds around FANG plus other US companies. Similar to that, momentum based small case can be launched. Can it be launched? Yes, it can be launched. We will certainly look at it. DJ is asking, one mantra that an equity investor should always remember throughout his or her lifetime in less than 20 words. I think that one mantra is that there will be another bull run. Let's get prepared. So never rue any lost opportunity, never regret any stock that you could not pick, because they are like, my favorite example, they are like buses. They will keep coming and going. You have to choose your bus and ride it. And there is no dearth of buses. In your lifetime, you will get many, many opportunities. So don't be in a rush. Just be prepared that when the bus comes, what will you do? You should be ready with that. When the bus comes, then you should not be thinking whether I have to ride it or I have to wait for another one or I have to do this or I have to do that. You should be ready to board it. So use the time to hone your strategy, to hone your skill, so that when the bus comes, you don't miss it. That is the only thing. Cutter Paper is asking, will Zomato shares get picked in weekend investing? So why we would want to pick any stock on the first day? As I said, there will be a 6 to 12 month cooling off period where we will allow the price action to take place, and only after that we will consider any new stock. Narayan has another question. When the portfolio size says 5 to 10 lakhs, does it mean the amount you can invest is 10 lakhs max or invested portfolio? Good question. So when I say that recommended size is, let's say 5 to 15 lakhs, what I'm saying is that please go to an investment of 15 lakhs, and if you're organically growing above that, you let it grow. But if that organic growth also crosses, let's say 1.5 or 2 times the recommended limit, then try to diversify into other strategies, because as you grow bigger and bigger in one strategy, the risk will keep on increasing. The small case platform is a market order driven platform, so you will get more and more slippages. There is no point of that. So diversify across strategies, and you will find that you'll do much better. Tejas is asking, which small case of your weekend investing would you suggest for 49-year-old, considering that he's just starting investing in equity, or say other than FD? So I think MIMT All Cap is a great all-rounder product. It is available only for a few days now, so if you want, you can get it. NNF 10 is a great product. It invests in large caps. MILT CNX 200 is not a popular product, but it's a good product for at least beating mutual funds. It has a CAGR of more than 15%. It is not seen as a very sought after product, because people are getting used to 30-40% types of CAGRs, but 15% is also a wonderful CAGR to have. So I would think that is also a great starter product. The next question and the last one is that, when will the new small case products be listed? It was expected in July first week now. So now it was not expected in first week. It was expected in last week, and we will announce all the details in the last week. So starting Monday, you will have all the details of the 3 products that we are going to release, and they will be released for subscription at the end of the month. So all the details will be available with you, so that you can compare versus MI25 or MIMT All Cap that may close and take a suitable decision. But they will be available for subscription and trade from 1st August basically, and all the details will be available starting Monday onwards. So this is all I had in this round 3 of Ask Weekend Investing. Thank you so much. It was a long marathon session again today, and I'll see you in another video. Thank you for watching, and goodbye, and have a great weekend. Bye.